When was the last time you visited a zoo and saw exotic birds? Have you ever had the experience where you have one of those birds on your arm or see another person do it? Well, hello and welcome to Bird Caring 101. I am Professor Chandler Helm, and today I'm going to teach you on how you can take care of your very own exotic birds. Daily, we have been all exposed to birds, but it's a real gift seeing the aesthetic of these very rare exotic birds. I've been given the fantastic opportunity to take care of birds for the past 7 years of my life at the Perch Brewery down in Chandler, Arizona, and have dedicated my research to these birds after studying the bird's behavior. With that said, it may seem easy to take care of an exotic bird considering that it's a low-maintenance pet. However, it takes way more time and energy to understand the behaviors of these birds, how to handle these birds in any situation, and knowing where to start when taking care of them. Let's start by talking about certain behaviors of these exotic birds. A question that I often get from the behavior of birds is that, do birds bite you? My response is, yes they will, absolutely, no matter what. It's never a matter of if, it's when. And yes, it's disappointing. However, there are different degrees of a bird's bite that may be considered positive for both you and your bird. For example, displacement biting. As recalled by Deb White in an article called Birds Bite, Don't Blame the Bird, she says that some birds will bite their owner in an attempt to warn and protect them from a perceived danger. This is called displacement aggression and is an instinctive reaction. When a bird bites you, remain calm, and I'll explain how you can control that behavior later. Anyways, for now, let's talk about another behavior that I believe is very important for everyone to know about these birds, as they are permanent toddlers. They will make serious messes. They will scream in your ear until you are deaf. They will use the bathroom anywhere they please. And did I mention that they constantly want so much time, energy, and attention out of you? Although they live up to about 65 to 85 plus years, they have the mannerisms and habits related to a human child at around the ages 1 or 2. People often ask me, is it possible that a bird will grow out of this phase? To answer that, in an article written by Gina Spadafori called Unlike Toddlers, Parents Will Never Outgrow Their Terrible Twos, she says that they behave very much like a child in their terrible twos, except for one big difference. The birds never outgrow that stage. So when taking care of these birds, be prepared with a commitment to love your bird as your child, with a vacuum, some gloves, and a whole bunch of cleaning supplies to help clean and care for your bird. Now that you know some of the unique behaviors of these exotic birds, it's now crucial to understand how to handle these birds in any given situation. Knowing how to handle a bird in any scenario is one of the greatest advantages you will have when it comes to taking care of these birds. To start, let's revisit the whole biting conversation, or whatever you like to call it. First, remember that it's not a matter of if, it's when, and when it happens, find the reason for it. Did the bird get startled? Did the bird want something? Or are you poking at the bird too many times through its cage trying to pet it in areas where they are not comfortable? A common problem I've seen in the parks. But moving on, in any scenario, it's crucial to correct the bird's behavior. And the way it should be done, as said by Alison Callaghan in an article called Why is My Pet Bird Biting and Beaking Me? Is that you must speak calmly and softly into low tones to tell your bird that it's not acceptable behavior. As you do so, immediately place the bird back on its cage or on its perch. Do not hit the bird. Do not throw the bird. It's abusive behavior and it will teach the bird nothing and will physically and mentally scar the bird. Now, what if you're in a situation where you want to hold the bird and have it perch on your arm? Well, you can, but there are 3 straightforward rules for that. And to start off, rule number 1, tell the bird while offering your arm a preference to step up. And if they step up to you, fantastic. And if not, don't force it to perch up to you. Let the bird be, because chances are they don't want to perch on you. Rule number 2, keep your arms steady, balanced, and completely horizontal to make sure that the bird can properly perch on your arm safely. Rule number 3, never under any circumstances allow your bird to perch up to your shoulder. Why? In an article written anonymously by the Best Friends Animal Society called Bird Handling Technique, says that when a bird is on your shoulder, you cannot see the bird or read his body language. You can't tell if something is bothering or scaring him. When startled, a bird can redirect his alarm into a bite. They are not, and re-emphasize this, they are not pirate parrots that rest on the captain's shoulders. Be smart and be safe when having your birds perch on your arm. I have revealed to you some tactics on how to handle a bird, but the most important thing you need to know is to know where to start with taking care of them. Taking care of a bird, like a child, is one of the most demanding jobs there is, and knowing where to start in bird caring is vital. You will come across a bird in varying shapes, sizes, and personality traits that are so unique to your bird that the bond you may have with your bird is almost like a family member. With that said, what kind of bird would you take care of first? Well, let's say you have a child and they want their first pet. In an article written by Kit Arbuckle called 11 Things to Consider Before Buying a Feathered Pet, she recommends that you consider adopting a smaller species that's easier to care for, like a budgie or a cockatiel. Starting with a smaller species can give you a slightly better idea of the expectations of taking care of these birds. The smaller the better. However, if you consider biting a macaw or a cockatoo, then be prepared to know the type of bird you have. You need to buy a cage big enough for the bird to move around with perches that have different textures to support the bird's feet. You would also have to change out and give the bird food and water constantly. But what's in a bird's proper and balanced diet? According to an article written by Rick Axelson called Macaw's Feeding, he states that pellets have been developed to meet all your bird's nutritional needs. It also recommends you give it some fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, but these would all be considered junk food. In conclusion, taking care of these birds is more demanding than how people see it. Taking care of these birds may be low maintenance, but it's essential to understand the bird's behavior, how to handle birds, and where to start when taking care of one. I know it may sound scary and it sounds like there is more work than there should be, but in the end, it's a worthwhile experience, and it will give you a new perspective on the natural beauty of these creatures. Thank you for watching.